Hello, sexual friendlies.
Hello, sexual friendlies.
Ooh!
Actually, it's more like good evening acquaintances.
That's very good, yeah. Is this the Shodcast or the Stoicast?
Shot.
Oh, scooch on in.
I will.
Scooch on in.
I'll scooch over it.
Oh, hang on. Let me check the. Has this one got different settings? Has it got different settings? I don't think it has. No, it hasn't.
No.
It's my other mic. Was this the Shoddy?
Yeah.
Hello, friends.
Let me just get it all out. I think we're done now.
Hello, friends.
Good evening, acquaintances.
Welcome back to Games by James with Ben,
I'm
aka
here.
Bagat.
Yeah.
Bag at it again with Jagat.
I'm bag at it with Jagat, which is James and games and things.
So Jagat and Bagat, and I'm Jag at it again.
You are Jag at it again.
Which
That's
is
just Jag from the old corner shop, and he's at it again.
Our
At
old
it again,
boss.
I mean, looking at the porn mags and pretending he's not when he's putting them away on the shelves and having a cheeky little fucking look.
By Jag at it again, you mean putting stuff that's about to go out of date right at the front so people buy it, even though it's like bread and there's no way they're going to eat it in one day. Fucking robbing bastard.
All that time when there was a Calypso, like one of them little push pop Calypsos, an ice lol, and it dropped on the floor and the lid had come off and some bits of grit got into it and he just fucking stuck the lid back down on it and put it back in the fridge.
Classic Jag.
Classic Jag.
I used to steal from him all the time. I used to slip fucking goldies into my back pocket. This method, because some of the stuff wouldn't scan, like the stuff with prices on, like fags and stuff. Cigarettes for the Americans, which are not listening to this. Actually, we've got a couple of American fans.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Nobbins! And I knew that the camera was right on me while I was working the till, but for the cigarettes and the stuff with prices on, you had to tap it in. You put it like other, tap in the price. So I'd get like a pack of cigarettes, and then it'd be like $5.70, and then I'd tap in $4.70. The guy'd give me $5.70. Bang, that's a goldie.
Yeah.
Slip $4.70 in, keep the other one like that, gripped in just me palm, and then I'd stand there and I'd go, oh, gotta pull up my trousers. BP.
Nice.
Right in the back pocket.
Very nice.
I was jingling like a fucking Christmas bell. Never caught me though.
Must have worked then.
Well, he did, and he was like, I'm paying him so little anyway. And it's a little bit of fucking extra cash he's robbing actually makes no difference. The other guy that worked there used to rob like 10, 20 quid. And he wouldn't even bother trying to cover it. But Jag liked him a lot and knew him well. So at the end of like every shift, he'd be like, James, the till's balanced, it's £20 down exactly. That's a little bit suspicious, isn't it? I was like, yeah, super suspicious, dude. He'd be like, James, I'm going to ask you, have you taken any money? I was like, no, not that money. I'm guessing he caught the other guy, but no. Anyway,
enough about your crimes and documenting them for everyone. I also did have a little bit of a crime there. They handed me the car machine once when I was buying some stuff.
Yeah.
And the person hadn't put in how much it costs. So normally they put the money in, like give it to you and you pay. It was on like put in your price. So I just pressed 000 enter. I was like, oh, I got my pin wrong, and then I put my pin number in and I paid $0. Nice. And then I went in a few months later and Jag was behind the till and he said, oh Ben, I've got something to ask you. And he pulled out this receipt and he said, oh look, this you came in and like you didn't pay, like your card like didn't go through properly. I was like, oh, that's weird, isn't it? And I think he's expecting me to say I'll pay for that. I was like,
Toss it up for me, mate.
See you later. I just walked out.
He definitely was. He was holding on to
and
that.
Then I never went back.
I never went back either after I finished working there.
This is mine, isn't it?
Yeah, it's yours.
I did buy one, but I didn't know where I put it.
I've got my blue Raz Lemonade Elf bar tonight.
Nice. I've got a energy drink and I've got a grape.
I love the grape.
We can have a grape time.
Can I have a suck on you? Oh, that was good. That was good. I love the N-ends as well. I'll tell you what.
N-ends are good.
Let me hit this quick.
Yeah, you hit that.
It's got that like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that disgusting energy drink taste. Yeah.
It's like kind of like old man's piss.
It's why I like it so much.
Do you know what that reminds me of though? Because I used to vape energy drink flavour when I first started vaping. This reminds me, just vaping that takes me straight back to that cold dark alley behind Subside. Yes. I can taste the methadone in my nose.
I was looking at methadone on the darkie the other day and I nearly ordered some. I'm glad that I didn't, but I was like, I need some stimulation.
It's great, but it's another experience. It's another world of fucking
come down, which I just don't want.
Well, you might be right off one, but will it be one?
No, that's
because it's very, very good as well.
I know what I'm like.
Anyway, Shodcast.
So now we've talked about our crimes and drugs. We'll do the Shodcast bit.
This is a podcast about games. believe it or not. We're going to do top games of 2022.
Yep.
And then just the fucking shittest games of 2022.
Yeah, the absolute worst ones that we hated. This is a personal list. It's not really based in any fact or anything like that. It's just based in... Well, I mean, like any fucking fact. Opinion. It is fact, but because it's us.
Yeah, exactly. So, that's what I'm saying.
And even though our opinions may differ on what the shittest games are, even if my top game is in Jimmy's bottom game, they're still both correct.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. And if it does happen, it's a technical glitch. Whatever we both say is right.
Yeah.
Even if it's
contradictory.
Yeah. You contradicts. 2020 poo, we should call it.
Yeah.
We're not going to call it that, though. Should we start with the good and then leave them with the bad to look forward to?
Yeah, so should we do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 of good? And then we'll just do... With bad, we won't have numbers. We'll just go through all the shit games.
Yeah. We could discuss.
So do you want to do your fifth favourite game?
If you don't mind.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
I'll put it up on the screen. My fifth favourite game from 2020 poo was, believe it or not, Sonic Frontiers.
Ooh. Interesting choice. Because that had a lot of bad press before it came out. They almost did the opposite of Cyberpunk, didn't they? Because I've seen the reviews for that were overwhelmingly positive on Steam at one point. I don't know if they still are, but
for Cyberpunk.
No.
Oh, for Sonic.
Sonic. No. They did the absolute opposite. They released all this really shit-looking footage, and it looked bollocks, didn't it?
It looked awful.
And then they released the game, and everyone was like, you know what? It's actually not that bad. In fact, it's actually quite a lot of fun, and people have been praising it.
Well, I saw the footage, and people were going, "Oh, it looks great," and I thought it looks awful. It looks like an asset flip where they've just generated some little fucking outside map with a shitty skybox, and then they've just thrown in rails and gone, there's the game.
Yeah.
It looks like what you would do when you were mapping out how a game's supposed to go before you put the rest of the game in.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to play it, and then all the weird fucking Sonic fans came in and started overwhelmingly positiving it straight away because it wasn't too shit. For a change, it was like a 5 out of 10 instead of a 1 out of 10.
Yeah.
And that's why it got overwhelmingly. But I thought I'd get it anyway because I'm literally addicted to spending money on games, and I buy every single game that pops up. And it was great. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I played it for about 20 hours straight. I haven't gone back to it, but we'll do one day.
You still enjoyed it though?
Still enjoyed it.
That's what counts.
The little levels where you go into it, like the old school ones, are kind of fun. They're about as fun as Sonic Adventure 2.
Yeah.
Which is to say, not very. but you know, serviceable.
Yeah.
But the open world bit is where it's coming all over Fox's fucking tails.
Ooh.
Like a fox bukkake. Do you reckon his bumholes in the middle of the tails or underneath them?
That's a good point.
Do you reckon the tails spin around his bumhole?
Yeah.
Like centrifugal force?
Yeah, maybe. And it sucks the cocks
Sucks the cocks in?
Yeah, it probably does.
And then blows the poos out when needs be.
Yes.
He just does a shit.
Rapid speed.
Why is it good? It's good because it's just like you can bolt it round, and that's fun. It's fun to run really fast around an open world and jump on rails. So although it's a bit annoying that the rails are like floating around the air, I did think about this when I was playing. And if they built it up properly, so what I thought would be good is if they put like actual ground and like buildings, but then you wouldn't be able to see where you were going. The one good thing about the rails just sort of floating randomly in the sky is that you can see them from far off and you can follow Sonic round. The bosses are cracking. The music is so fucking good. It's like a mixture of dubstep and death metal.
Really?
There's like pure metal in it, which is
I've
great.
never played it, so that's pretty cool.
It's good. If you ever see it for like a $5,
oh yeah, I'll grab it.
give it a crack. So yeah, that's my number 5.
Excellent.
What's yours, sir?
My number 5 game of 2022. Now, it didn't come out in 2022. It came out just at the end of the year before, but I didn't play it till 2022.
Yeah, that's the rules, by the way. Don't have to come out. It's just what we enjoyed in 2022. Sorry.
Was Tales of Arise.
Yes.
Now, I completed it in September, and it took me, I think I played it for 80 hours in total.
Yes.
And it was just, it's a very good game in terms of the storyline was very interesting from start to finish, very character driven, but also had this big overall world building thing going on as well at the same time. So it mixed up that, excuse me, sir.
Sorry.
Oh. It mixed up that kind of, you got to know the characters really well, and like you end up like really liking all the characters, but then you had like this really big cool story going on with some twists and turns and some stops as well, and then some goes.
Ooh, and some goes.
But what made it really good from a gameplay perspective was that all the characters that because you can play as any of the characters that end up joining your party.
Yeah, which I actually didn't realise until about 30 hours in, because it's hidden behind like you have to hold like right bumper and then push like up, on the D-pad or something crazy.
You can do it in the menus as well, though. You can set someone else to be your party leader. So I
have no idea about any of that.
I ended up switching out to Kisara, Mommy Kisara, with the absolute milkers. Mainly because, you know, it was Mommy Kisara, but she was she played as a like paladin tank class, which is always my favourite class to play in any game. Always the ones that stand there taking a beating, not doing as much damage, but can take the beating and
stalwart.
stand on the front line. So I played most of the game as her after I got her. But each character had a really, really fleshed out skill tree, and like you could invest points into it, and like you unlock them through game events rather than. It wasn't just fighting, it was like if you did a quest in the game or if you did a certain action in the game, it could unlock a new skill. With Kasara, when you learn how to fish and you fish certain things up, because she's the one who's in charge of fishing, you unlock all these like skills to do with fishing, but they also affect combat.
I did notice that when I was cooking some fucking delicious dishes.
Yeah.
Because they've all got, you can cook and then each character's got like a special perk, like it lasts longer or it's more strong, which is really good. I did some cooking.
Cooking actually made a difference in that game. It's not like other games where you can leave it. It's definitely beneficial. And also,
which makes a big thing for when you're collecting items, because you actually want to go and cook shit.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, it does actually make you want to go and farm a little bit. But before you complete the last boss, there are a load of like really difficult optional bosses that you can go and do. And I went and did all of those, and I thought that they were the end game content that you were supposed to after the last boss. So I did the last boss, and I was like, oh cool. Realised there's another like 20 hours worth of content after the last boss, or proper end game content. I started doing it, but then by that point I'd done 8 hours, and I think I was saturated. I'd had my fill, I'd enjoyed it, I didn't want to carry on. But the end game was, from what I did, was like taking you back to old Tales games and like doing stuff with old characters and stuff. So if you played I've never played any Tales games like Symphonia or Besteria or Besteria, whatever it's called. I've never played any of them, so I couldn't really appreciate these throwbacks to the old characters. But good game, very good game. Highly recommend.
That's definitely one of I played it last year, but it was definitely a fucking cracking game. Even though I only played with one character for all of it. Even after I found out I could change, though I didn't, because I was so used to playing with Swordy Man. But the skill tree systems like Final Fantasy VII Remake, where you just get like a new core come in, and then you can put new points in that, and I love that too. Yeah. So yes, very good.
Yeah, very good. Number 4
for me.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure you'll agree is a cracker. Persona 5. Played that earlier this year in June. Amy went on holiday. She said, "Do you want to come on holiday with my family?" I said, "I'm alright, thanks." Sent her on her way. And we had our house this year as well. So it was the first time since I moved out into my own house that Amy wasn't going to be there. Or one of the first times. So I was like, between the wanking, I don't know if you can swear on YouTube now. They've changed a lot of stuff. Like it matters. I don't have advertisements anyway. Twats. Yeah, between that, I decided to kick up Persona. Literally, like, I had a week without her, and I thought, I'm going to do so much music, so many games by James's. I did 1 games by James, and then almost every day I just played Persona 5.
And I bet you only got a quarter of the way through the fucking thing.
I think I played it for about 50 or 60 hours, and I got to the second palace.
I'm about to say, you wouldn't have made much progress. The first palace is about 30 hours.
Yeah, I didn't even complete the second palace. I got to the second palace, and it was an absolute dream. And I'm glad that I didn't get further, because I just got Royal for the Switch.
Perfect.
And now I've just got through the first palace again, and all the little changes are so good.
I need to go back because I didn't even complete the main game. I played it for over 100 hours, got about through 3 or 4 of the palaces, but then Royal came out and I bought Royal but never played it, so I need to go back when I'm like ready for it and just blast through Royal. Well, blast through, take a massive big long slog through Royal.
There's so much shit in there as well, and with Royal it adds in extra ways that you can boost your stats, which I always thought was really annoying, that you could only do like one little thing.
Yeah, that was a bit annoying.
But there's extra ways you can boost your stats without further in time, and there's also there's extra dialogue options to give you even more when you're doing your confidants.
That was my one big like negative point, was that because you're so time restricted, like you can't. It feels like you have to really invest in certain parts of the game, otherwise you're going to be too far behind to be able to do anything useful in battle, and it leaves a lot of the social stuff that you kind of think, I'm probably not going to do that. But you can, if you wanted to, you can go and farm like the underground dungeon for like ages, level up modes, get those. Yeah, the memento place. Yeah, so you do have options, but it's a grind, but it's a very enjoyable one, because whilst you're grinding, you're not just like getting levels, like you're getting new demons and you're fusing your demons together and then fusing those into new demons, and there's all kinds of shit going on.
There's more demons now. They give you some demons to start with when you hit certain levels, like really powerful ones that you can also fuse. But yeah, I found that I was getting to like level 4 and level 5 with all of my confidants.
Yeah.
Just by Googling what are the correct answers, obviously. And then hitting the main points and then still mementoing. But I'm having a great time. Also, they added crosswords. So there's a little crossword on the table. Go and have a sit down, you fill out this crossword. Didn't even need to look at Google. Use me brain.
Fucking hell.
And you get a couple of knowledge points for it. So yeah, very good game. Love it. Antaka Meki. It's fucking so sexy. I put her in the swimsuit outfit. The only one, and the cat, obviously. Want to see the sexy cat boobs. Yeah, great game.
Yeah.
What is your fourth, sir?
Fourth. I'm going to go with, and all of you Bagat fans, and I know there's a lot of you out there, especially the cross-section, the Venn diagram of Bagat to Jagat fans. BJ? Rimworld.
What a game.
Absolute cracking game. And just very funny. Lots of very funny interactions happening in it. And
it's my favourite game that I've never played.
Yeah, it's got a bit of a steep learning curve, but once you get past it, it's not too bad. And they released the new expansion for it this year, Biotech, which added loads of new content in. And I played Biotech when it came out, but I haven't played it since they added in.
sorry.
All of the new because they had basically when Biotech came out, the maker's philosophy was to release it with. To be standalone, so you didn't need the other expansions to play it. But then people who had bought those expansions felt like they'd wasted their money a bit because they paid for the other expansions and they didn't get any synergies with Biotech. All the stuff in Biotech that should interact with ideology and royalty wasn't happening. So eventually he decided to add in those synergies, and now it's a much more complete experience. So I need to go back and do some more recording.
More recording. You recorded about 50 hours of Rimworld in like a month.
Yeah, overall I recorded way over 100 because the first series, which is about 40 episodes long, I ended up taking down and redoing it as different, like about 4 or 5 other series.
You put me to absolute shame. I released like 10 minutes every 2 months. And then you were like, I've got a new 3 episodes on. I was like, fucking hell, man. I'm not even awake that long. But it was hilarious. The best part for me was watching, like getting really into it to a point where I was like, angry if my characters weren't fucking the other characters. So why isn't he doing that? Why is he being a dick and just walking around in the rain for 6 hours?
Yeah, it's good making them have mental breakdowns.
It is good. I had one personally as well, which was cracking. It was like in tandem.
So yeah, that's my number 4.
Number 4. Cracking number 4.
Number 3.
It's been a tough tussle in my head between 3 and 2. But I'm going to go for this one for 3.
Yeah.
Pokemon Sapphire.
Sapphire?
No, Violet.
Violet, yeah.
Yeah. Pokemon Violet. And I know everyone at home now is going... because it looks shit. And let's be honest, it runs like shit. It's very... like they've skimped out totally on fucking... And the next game will prove that the Switch can actually do good graphics with a lot of things running around and not look like shit.
Yeah.
But... the thing is, I can't deny the fact that it was fucking so good. It was so fun to play.
And that's the main thing.
That's the main thing.
If they're fun, it doesn't really matter about the graphics at the end of the day. That's just an enhancement on top of the fun, isn't it?
Well, yeah, because I got it because I had money for Christmas in vouchers and I thought I might as well fucking get everything I can. Not expecting to complete it. Like, I didn't complete Sword for like 2 years. I didn't complete Brilliant Diamond, even though that runs great and looks good. But it's just fun. It's just super fun. There's 400 Pokemons. And then you start off and there's a sexual lady who's your best friend in it, and she's so sexual. I think she's like 14 canon though, so she's not that sexual. In fact, she's just like a normal kid. With a fat pair of tits! No, it's a drawing, come on. It's just, there's something about it and I don't know what it was. And it's like you with Arceus, because you really enjoyed Arceus.
Yes, Arceus nearly made this list. It was very, very tough.
Before we drop our wands, we'll do an honourable mention.
Yeah, we'll do some honourable mentions.
But yeah, going around with your Pokemon walking behind you.
Would you say you were going all around town trying to catch
all around town, just trying to catch all the Pokemons. I want a Pidgey and a Drowsy. Yeah, it was a great game. Better than that song. There's just something about it, and they're like, oh, it's free, you can do whatever you want. You can't, because if you go and try and do something later on, you're just going to die, because there is a level limit.
Yeah.
It's not like Elden Ring, where you can walk to the last boss and do it technically.
Yeah.
Or even like Breath of the
Wild.
Wild.
I saw a level 1 take on Millennia.
There's a guy called Let Me Solo Her.
Yeah.
Have you seen him with the pot on his head?
It's amazing. I saw a story on Reddit the other day of someone that, like, because I was talking about Let Me Solo Her, But in the comments, someone said they went in and they had a summon called "Let Her Solo Me," and apparently he just threw a knife at her and she went over and just killed him immediately.
That's basically what's going to happen when I get.
Oh
to
yeah, she took me five. Every other boss are pretty much one shot in that game with that fucking scrafted greatsword. She took me 5 hours, probably 100 attempts to fucking beat her. She was horrible,
crazy.
But yeah, Arceus.
Sorry,
Pokemon. Yeah.
But yes, right. If you weren't going to get it, but you like Pokemon, get it, because
I'm going to get it.
Do get it. You I think you'll love it because you love Arceus.
I know I will. Yeah.
There's the things that I like the most about it are the fact that you can walk around and you can see like the different versions, like the shinies.
Yes.
So you get to actually just hunt around and do stuff. There's 400 fucking Pokemons. There's also these little things that stick out of the ground in totally random places, and if you activate enough of them, you get like a legendary in that zone, which is just fun to explore. Also, the items and the HMs that you find are fun. You can go literally like to the top of any mountain and find packs of Pokemon that aren't anywhere else, which is great. The raid battles that you find just dotted around, you can find totally raries there. But the best one is the Gimmighoul. It's a little treasure chest with a Pokemon in it called a Gimmighoul, and he's got like 2 shit moves, and he gives you about 5 coins. But if you get 999 of his coins and let him hold them, he evolves into, I don't know what yet because I've only got 400 of them.
Like a legendary, I'm guessing.
A legendary.
That's sick.
He's like tiny on the screen. So I just spent about 5 hours just walking around and looking for Gimmighouls, and it was so fucking fun. Great game. So even though it's very bad, and if they release a patch to iron out the shitty popping and the bad performance, it will probably be the best Pokemon game ever. IMO.
You got me wanting to play it now because obviously I've just completed a very big game and I'm looking for the next big one. So
give it a go. I did complete it in less than a week because I just didn't stop playing it. But very good. Give it a go.
I will.
What is your third, sir?
My third. So this again, like yours, it was a big hard tussle between two. And I'm just going to pick one because I still haven't decided really.
They're echoing.
They're very close. So I'm going to go with Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak.
Yes.
It was fantastic when it came out, and then the patches that they've released since, well, the title updates, they're not patches, they're like full on big DLC chunks of content, have made it even better. And this year, apparently, that they're going to release title update 4 comes out next month. Title update 5 they said is going to come, and apparently there's going to be a title update 6 as well. So there's going to be even more endgame bosses to fight, and I'm hard for it. I can't wait. So it's still ongoing. It's still a good game. It could be in my 2023 games as well.
They did smash it. They smashed it with Monster
Hunter.
I wasn't expecting it to actually look or run good because of what it is. But the zones are much bigger than the original, than the older Monster Hunter. In fact, there's no zones, it's just levels.
One big level, basically,
It looks fucking great for the Switch, and then if you play it in handheld, like I always do, on the OLED, it actually looks nice.
Yes.
Which is a shock.
So I played it handheld, but on the Steam Deck instead of the Steam
Switch.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot it's on fucking thingy now.
Yeah,
I bet that looks insane.
Oh, yeah. It was... so I bought it again on Steam when it came out, and got it all the way up to Sunbreak tier. And then I played Sunbreak mostly on the Steam Deck. So it's fantastic. Loads of really good endgame monsters, loads of good armor sets, loads of good endgame systems. Like you can farm these like progressively harder levels of these like afflicted monsters. Like you basically get to fight all the monsters again, but they're like afflicted with this virus, and they're much more powerful, much harder to kill. But like they drop like new armor, new weapons in some cases, and they drop these like extra like bits of amber, and you can use the amber to reinforce your existing gear, add new moves onto existing gear, do all that kind of shit. So there's tons of replayability, tons of stuff to do at the end.
Yeah, I do love that about it. I've played a fair bit. I got to like 6 stars. I think. So I've done a decent amount, and it is fun as fuck. At first I was like, it's a bit annoying because I hate games where it's just you level up to the next armor. It's like there's no fun in finding different pieces. They're not like different. You won't interchange it. You'll just get the best one. But then as you go on, you do interchange.
Yeah, like,
because actually, especially when you start adding stuff, you're like, I'm fighting Tigrex or whatever. Tickle its clit. I need whatever element. It's
you build like when you get to the end game, you end up building specific weapon and armor sets around a particular monster that you want to beat, so that you can then farm other monsters. So it's got that fun kind of sideways progression at the end where you can just go and do whatever you want in whatever order.
It's also called seeing a Nui, and being like, oh, I want to get that armour.
Yes.
And you know that you can keep farming it, like the Baroth. That was the first one I saw. I was like, I want his fucking mad head on my head.
Yeah.
Great game.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my number 3.
And a good 3 it is. Technically, it's DLC as well.
It is DLC, yeah. DL3.
Oh!
Although it was the first one. Anyway, number 2. This is your hard toss-up.
This was me toss-up.
Yeah, I know which one this one's going to be. Now you've told me what number 3 is.
I went for Pokemon third because although I did love it, actually, when I think about it as a whole, it wasn't as good as Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Because obviously, as well as the fun gameplay, it had the graphical side and it was well built, wasn't it?
It was much better built. Yeah. It runs a solid 30, a crisp 30, which everyone loves. But the thing is, I noticed with some games they're 30 and they're horrible to play.
Yes,
especially if you're playing them on TV.
Yeah, like an FPS, you want 60, but an action game where it's slower action, you don't notice it.
You don't notice it on the handheld either.
No, yeah, that
because
is true.
I play stuff on my fucking big screen in my lounge, and if it's on PS4 and it's 30 FPS, I can't play it.
Yeah, it's horrible.
I can't play it.
But on a handheld, because it's smaller, you notice it a lot less. Especially like with the Steam Deck, it's got a special performance mode which is 40 frames per second, which doesn't sound like much, but someone did like the maths on it, and it said that 40% frames per second is actually halfway between 30 and 60, and they've properly mathematically explained why it is, and that's why it feels so good to play.
Like a logarithmic curve or something.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, like, for the PS5, I was playing Bloodborne, and just turning the camera. I know that my TV was set on to auto smooth, so I was like, oh, it looks horrible, it's ghosting and everything.
Yeah.
Then I turned it off and I was like, now it's just jittery. Awful. I can't play Fallout 4 on my PS5 because of that reason, or any game that doesn't run at 60. But this one looks great. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 looks one of the best looking. Although it's a bit bare at times, it's stylised, which is nice. But although I love it for its combat is fun. It's weird, it's like PSO. So you'll just be auto-attacking, but then you time your skills.
Yes, it's a bit like the second game then in that case, because the second game had that kind of chain attack where you'd auto-attack, but then you'd have to, what your actual input to the gameplay was to figure out the timing on certain things. And so press buttons at the right time.
When you've just finished your one attack, you hit your next one and you get the break, which brings it in and does more damage.
Yeah.
And then as you go on, you can do more and more of these breaks, and then you get these other things called chain attacks, which are fucking so
chain
cool.
attacks. I remember those from the second game.
You push start, and it goes into like a zoomed in action sequence, and you get 4 random characters pop up out of your 7, and they've all got a special thing that happens when you pick them, and then you pick whatever's in your bottom bit, like cards. So you start off with an attacker, he does a bit of bonus. You want to get it as close to 99 as possible, and then you go for your biggest one to finish it off, and then it goes over 100%. And you do a final big attack. If you get it over 100, it restarts, and you can just keep looping until you're doing 1,000,000% fucking extra damage. And
That's
you get
ridiculous.
After you've killed the monster as well. If you keep on chaining it for each hit, you get more experience.
Oh, okay. So you can kill the monster, but you can keep attacking to get more experience.
Exactly.
I need to play this game as well.
You're still then motivated to carry on. So I'll be just smashing up these rares because there's legendaries and rares as well.
Yeah.
And then you come out with 700% experience for something that's already high experience, so that's good. But the best part is the story. The story's so fucking beautiful, philosophical. There was points when I was getting teary.
Oh wow!
I didn't cry because I'm a man.
Yeah,
cry.
We don't cry.
But it's just great. I mean, it's for a JRPG because they get a bit confusing and a bit. For some reason, I don't know what it is about Japanese games, but they get to a point where they're we've got this great story that's got decent amount of twists and turns, but we want to make it more confusing. It's not quite confusing enough yet. We feel like there needs to be more twists and turns. But very good. I'm 100 hours in.
Wow.
And I still haven't finished.
Fucking hell.
And then I've got all the end game content and all the side bosses.
Oh, it's got end game. You know me and my end game. I pretty much exclusively play games if they're either roguelike, because they are end game already, or if they've got an extensive end game. I do love a good end game, so I'm going to have to give it a go.
I think you should.
Yeah.
Xeno 3 is so big already that I've missed most of the stuff. And I'm just going back to it now and picking it off. But then Elden, I guess, there's big monsters walking around that are way too hard for you, like Tales of Arise.
Yes.
That you go back to. So there's all that to do. Then the story. And then they'll release their DLC. And last 2 games, they basically release a whole new game
Yeah.
for the DLC.
Yeah,
so that's my
standalone, weren't they?
standalones, yeah.
Fucking hell.
That's me 2, Xeno 3.
Yeah. Game number 2
Game number 2.
is Neo 2. Now, I played this a lot last year, but I played it a lot this year as well, at the start of the year especially. But the combat in it, it's just, even compared to like something like Elden Ring, which had fantastic varied combat, nothing comes close to it for me. It's got the best like action combat of any game.
A lot faster.
Yeah, it's faster and it just flows really smoothly. And when you finally get the hang, it's very difficult to learn. But when you finally get the hang of it, you can just like enemies that like would fuck you up very easily. You can just melt them, especially if you use like fists. I did a playthrough with fists, and you can just fucking stun lock enemies when you get good at it. You can just stun lock most enemies, most bosses. And just batter them. Like there are some bosses that you can't do it to, and you just have to really fucking try hard with them.
I struggled with even the first boss.
Oh, first boss
I
is
had to
hard.
completely change my mind about how to play because it's not like Souls, which I find easy by comparison.
Oh yeah, Souls is easy by comparison. Like the fact that I one-shot most of the bosses in Elden Ring.
Yeah.
But Neo 2, like even towards the end of the game, like I was still struggling with bosses. Like bosses, I had to respec entirely for one boss because I didn't realise that I'd been playing the game on hard mode because I had heavy encumbrance.
Which after playing it myself, I don't know how the fuck you managed.
I don't know how I managed to do it either. Like your stamina regen's much slower, you roll slower, everything's horrible, but I managed to do it. But yeah, no, it's just a fantastic game, and I'm looking forward to Wulong.
It's making me Wulong.
Yeah, you played the demo, didn't you?
Played the demo, loved the demo.
Yeah, demo
and that was
very
before
good.
I got into Neo 2.
Oh, okay.
Because I played Neo 2 when you got it for me.
Yes.
And I was like, it's good, but it's no Souls.
And it's not a Souls. It's people always try and compare the two, but they're very different games.
Not Souls.
It's much more just an action combat game, but with Souls-like. It's got some Soul systems in like not bonfires, but like the shrine save points. And it has like little dead bodies with glowing dots on them, and it does feel a bit Souls-like, but it's a very different game overall.
Well, the reason why I say it's Soulsy is because it's that respect for the fucking player. Like Souls, it doesn't pander to you.
No.
It doesn't even have an easy mode, which I think is great.
Yeah, nor does Neo.
It is better. People say, oh, but if you're disabled, you can't play it. Yes, but if you pop an easy mode in, it kind of ruins it for people like me because I know that option's available. I don't want it available.
That's exactly how I feel about it. If there's a game like God of War is a good example. It's got so much accessibility built in, which is great for because it's a very cinematic game.
Yeah.
It's got loads of accessibility built in, which is really good for people who can't play games normally. But then the hard modes in it are like they're not well balanced. I don't think. Like the hardest mode in it, enemies can like pretty much one-shot you, and they're bullet sponges essentially. So it's not fun. You just end up like running around for 10 minutes. There's no skill in it. You can't just stun lock enemies and like figure out how to do it properly. You just have to hit and run, and for ages because they've got so much health, and it's like it's not a fun game to play at that point. But
problem with games like that for me as well is once I get to a point where I'm getting really annoyed but I want to carry on, I will just turn the difficulty down.
Yeah.
But then I'll get to another point where I'm like, well, I've played it all on easy, so I feel like I've not achieved anything.
Exactly. Literally what I did on God of War, the original God of War, was I played it through on the hardest mode up until a certain point where I was like, it's not fun. Turned it down to an easier mode, and then I felt like unaccomplished in it, and it ruined it for me. So
just make the game how you want it to be, and then release it. Is what I said. Well, obviously some games need to be accessible. Ubisoft released good accessibility games. There you go. Play them.
What they should do is have literally just one default hard mode on it, like for the game, and that is the mode you play it on. But then they can have optional accessibility menu which you can go into, and it won't be called easy mode. It will be specific accessibility options for people that want them.
That's what Steel Rising does. You've got the main mode, but then it says, oh, do you want to activate accessibility mode and Dead Cells? And if you do, then you can go in and change all sorts. You can make yourself invincible if you really want to. But because it's hidden away, I don't go in there, so I just played the game.
Exactly, yeah, that's what I want. I want a game where it's got one difficulty mode, but then it's got an optional accessibility thing you can switch on if you want, and you can tweak it to be whatever you need it to be if you need that. So
I need me hardcore games.
Yeah, I know.
But Neo, when I started playing it, I was like, this is like Sekiro. It's just shit. I can't get into it. It's too hard.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just a stupid little Japanese fucking feudal era knobend attacking. Oh, look, he's dancing! Attacking stuff that's just killing me. Shit game, badly made. But then I went back to it and realised that actually picking the right weapon, and then doing a bit of like leveling up and a bit of practice.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's so good.
The first level is a bit of a brick wall, to be honest.
Difficult.
I think from nothing to that is hard. But once you get past it...
The first monkey that you have to fight, the ape thing...
That's what got me. I was like, how the fuck am I supposed to do that? I've just started.
That's not even a mini-boss. That becomes a normal enemy, like, after a couple of levels.
Yeah. And that one is what put me off, because you have to do it.
Yeah.
It's like 10 seconds into the fucking first level. But once I got past it and I gave it a proper go, great game. It's like Sekiro, if Sekiro was good.
Yeah. I really do want to try Sekiro again, but it just really put me off how timing specific it is.
Yeah. Do you know what I don't like about it as well? When you parry, it clangs like a metal clang, which to me doesn't associate in my brain as you've done something good.
It's a bad thing, isn't it?
It's a bad thing. It feels like in Dark Souls when you clang your sword off a wall.
Yeah, it's
like
the tactical feel of it just doesn't feel right.
It needs to have like a different reaction, a different
like
effect.
a ching.
Yeah. Like just something that's not like I've just blunted me blade.
Yeah, you want like a nice sharp,
like a nice or like a ding or even like a thud.
Yeah,
just something to say you've hit 'em, and that's a good thing. So number two was number Sekiro shit.
Yeah, and our number one is the same game.
Before
I'll let you go. I'll let you announce it.
Let's run a few adverts.
Oh yeah, let's do the honourable mentions.
Honourable mentions.
I'm just going to bring up my Steam list because I can't remember all of them.
Let me give you a few honourables for me.
You do your honourables and I'll do my honourables.
I'm going to speed run them.
Okay.
Vampire Survivors.
Yes.
Cheap as fuck. Fucking fantastic game.
Such a fun game.
I've spent about 40 hours in it. Great. Shit. I lost them all. No, hang on. I got some more. Rogue Legacy 2. Just got released fully. Played it again. Cracking game. Still Rising.
Oh, I never played it.
Which is the one by Spiders, who made that pirate game. Very good as well. Dark Souls rip-off, but good. Another one that I played, which was great, was Far Cry 6. Played that this year.
Yep.
Another good honourable mention. Have you got some?
Yep. So the first two that you said, Vampire Survivors and Rogue Legacy 2, definitely. Another game that I played a lot this year, Will the Myth. That was fantastic.
Did that almost make you toppy?
That was close to being top 5, yeah. Disgaea 5, another very good Japanese game.
Yeah.
Wasteland 3 was good. What was that one? Return of the Obra Dinn.
Yes, that was good.
Obviously that was on Bagat.
I played it through you, but it was good.
Factorio. I know you fucking hate factory games, but
I actually didn't mind that. It just got a bit confusing for me when you started doing all the automation, because I was trying to think, I've got to put this in this and this comes out of that, but it was just...
I love it. They're doing a DLC for it apparently, so I'm going to be getting that. Yeah, I think that's, we had some shared honourable mentions, but those are mine. And this year, should we talk about what we're looking forward to this year? Or should we do that after our number one game?
We'll do it after.
So, number one, I'll let you do the honours.
Let's do it at the same time.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Elden Ring.
What a game.
Amazing game. I didn't even like it. I played 50 hours of it, and the thing was, because I listened to your advice to get that rock sling staff, I just cheesed about half of the game. And then I got to a point where you couldn't cheese it anymore. You had to have skill, and I had no skill, so I couldn't do anything. I hit a brick wall that I could not overcome, and I thought, this is a badly made game, and I stopped playing.
Yeah, it is. I thought, he'll enjoy it more if he's got more power, because that's what I was doing. But I did the same I did similar. I got to a certain point, I was like, I don't want to do rock sling anymore. I want to actually enjoy and play the game.
Yeah.
So I just restarted with my 50th character.
Every single time you text me like, I have started a new character, and you must have sent me that text about 50 times.
I've got to the mountaintops of the Giants with my PS5. It's my most played game on my PC and on my PS5 for this year by massive margins. And then I've started about 30 or 40 characters just on the PS5, and now I'm on my second one, which I did also start a Dex one, got him to the secondary, then deleted it, and then started a new one. But what a game.
What happened with me was I kept on reinstalling it after a couple of months had passed after my initial playthrough, and I would make a character, and then I would play about 10 minutes, and I'd be annoyed at the start of it, and I'd turn it off and never play it again. But then I decided that I was going to push through and persevere with the character I started in December.
Yeah.
And I made him a great sword thonker, and I went and got the grafted great sword, and then power leveled my way up to it straight away. So I could use it, and that made the game a whole different game to me.
Yeah. The thunker.
I blazed through it, and then I got all the way up to the hardest boss of any Souls game ever, allegedly. Millennia, Blade of Miquella. And so every other boss in the game, I pretty much one-shot nearly all of them. There were a couple that took me 2 or 3 attempts. Valiant Gargoyles was a fucker of a boss. That took me about 20 attempts. There were a couple of others that took me a long time, like not Margit. What's the one after Margit? The proper boss of the castle.
Oh, the fucking golden Godric.
Godric
The Golden, isn't it?
Is the grafted guy.
Godric the Grafted or Godric the Golden? One of them.
He was quite difficult. I one-shot Renala. I pretty much one-shot Radahn. So it actually took me 5 goes, but what I didn't realise was you could summon Torrent in that fight. Didn't know that. And then when I did summon Torrent the first time, he beat me because I wasn't dual-handing my sword, and I was doing no damage. And I was like, this guy's got infinite health. It's bullshit. But then I realised it was because I didn't have enough strength to wield the sword. You have to double-hand it to get proper strength. When I did that, I was taking so much of his HP, and I killed him straight away.
He's pissed. I think it's so easy.
I don't get why people talk about him being so hard, but then what's her name?
Which one?
The hardest boss.
Melania.
Melania, whatever her name is. When I got to her,
that was funny.
She must have taken, like, because I'd always summon the Ash, the mimic Ash with me. But I didn't do it for her because he just got battered, and she's got HP regen whenever she hits something.
That's crazy.
So I had to learn how to do her properly, and it took me probably about 100 goes and 5 hours worth of just grinding through to actually beat her.
That's what made me laugh.
Such a fucking good feeling when I finally beat her. When she knelt down, she said, "I finally met my match," or whatever she said. It's like, finally fucking beat her. But the thing was, phase 1 for me was the hardest phase. I must have spent 95% of my time on phase 1.
No way.
When I could get her to phase 2 fairly consistently, it took me 3 attempts to actually beat her. So I got to phase 2 naturally. She killed me. Did it again. She killed me again quite quickly. But then the third time, I kind of backed away and I summoned my mimic tier for phase 2, and that was when I won basically.
It's crazy because I've not done her, even though I've played it a lot. But the Elden Beast for me, I literally
I one-shot the Elden Beast.
Fucking one-shot it. I tried to do it and I got past the first stage, no problem. Just Scarlet Rotted him because I played it at the start before it was patched.
Yeah.
And Scarlet Rot just melted every single fucking character in the game.
Yeah.
Got to the second part and I just kept getting fucking killed. No matter what I tried, putting up defense against light, putting up my shields, putting up magic shields, potions, summoning the fucking Perfumer to put shields on me. But I kept dying, and then I stopped playing for 3 months, and then went back to it, and then after about 10 or 20 goes,
you got him.
Destroyed it. The only boss that served any challenge after the dual gargoyles.
Yeah.
Which for me as well, when I played it, they were different because they used to both aggro on you and attack you at the same time. Now one sort of stays back while the other one attacks you.
Yeah, and one comes in after a set time. So what I figured out with that fight was I need to take loads of risks with the first one, get hit by it, but then take it, melt it down as quickly as possible. So when the second one spawns in and starts attacking me at the same time, either the first one's already dead or is very nearly dead, and I can let my summons do the work on it. And then with the second one, you can be really cautious because you probably nearly run out of potions by that point because you got hit loads in the first phase, and you just have to keep being good at dodging. But the second one's harder than the first one because he's got the twin blade and he can do the fucking whirlwind attacks that do 360 damage around him. So he's actually harder to beat as well. So that was a bullshit boss. That was very difficult.
Yeah.
But bosses like Placiduax, who's the Dragon Lord, I suppose
that's the one with the
hardest
the stone, isn't it, on the little platform in Crumbling Forum?
Yes, he's at the bottom of that.
I did that one.
He's supposed to be the hardest dragon boss in the game. I one-shot him. Leech Dragon 40 who's the second hardest boss, dragon boss anyway, one-shot him as well.
It's crazy. Yeah, after the gargoyles, all of the bosses from Altius Plateau to the end of the game, I had absolutely no fucking trouble with it. I was Scarlet Rotting, but I beat them all. And then when people were going, "Oh, this boss is really hard. This boss is really hard," I was like, "Well, it's not."
Yeah, no, I found that.
Fire Giant, to be fair, was quite hard.
Yeah, that took me about 10 guys, and that was such a good fight as well. It's one of my favourite fights in the game.
And he breaks his leg.
Yes, and he's rolling round instead and doing loads more fire stuff.
That sick fucking face on his chest.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, the eye. Yeah, because that's like a god or something. That was
so.
It's
cool, very good though.
Yeah.
But yes, cracking game. The reason that I loved Elden though, and the reason why I like Souls games in general, but Elden just took it to the next fucking level, is you get that when you're a kid and you go into a secret room in Zelda.
Yeah.
You're literally anything could be in here. When I was a kid, I thought if I completed Donkey Kong Country 2 100%, I would get a new game unlock. Donkey Kong Country 3. And then with Pokemon Silver, you did get Kanto unlock.
Yes, you did.
So
You
I was
get a whole
kind of like,
new game.
anything can happen. But then since then, we've had all the like Ubisoft era of games where you go for a massive fucking side mission and you get like a portion of health.
Yeah, you get It's like massive
shit.
and loads of collectibles, thousands of collectibles on the map, but there's no point to them. But with Alden, there's all these secret areas, and like you could get something that could completely change your build for like the better. And
not even just that, but like there's that one bit that I told you about in the castle, where there's a little bit of balcony sticking out. If you jump on that and then jump to another little bit of balcony, that's so funny. Like, I missed that the first time I played it. You go through a little window and you're like, oh, this is cool. Go up some stairs and then you're in a building. You're like, oh, this is like a good little fucking separate bit. Then you go down to the bit with the bats and the buttresses.
Yeah.
And then you go down further into like the rat place. I was like, this is such a sick little thing for being a tiny little awning sticking out of a balcony.
You can easily walk past.
And then you go down to the bottom to whatever the fuck that thing is down there.
Yeah. So Jimmy told me about this place, and he said there's loads of stuff you can pick up. So I went down there and I went through all the stuff he just said, and there's the last area. And I walked up to it and I didn't drop down immediately, and I saw like 3 or 4 different like shiny drops on the floor, and I had a feeling, I was like, that seems a little bit too good to be true. I reckon there's going to be something down there. So I dropped down there, and then out of the ground just spawns this gigantic fucking monster called I found out later on it's actually a boss monster in some dungeons called an ulcerated tree spirit, but I had no idea what it was, and it killed me straight away because it was so overpowered. But then I went back later on in the game and I beat it, and it dropped like a seed. But then there's a room after that which has got like a really cool bit of lore in it, because it's got do you know where you fight Fear's champions, and there's that horrible mermaid / squid face thing mounted onto the cliff behind it. There's one of those behind that ulcerated tree spirit just on the floor. Remember, I took a picture and sent it to you.
Yeah, and you were like, what the fuck is that? Yeah,
that's just strange. Because I thought it was going to be another fight, but it's just like dead, and it's horrible, massive, mangled corpse faces on the floor.
I mean, that's
but stuff like that, it's just amazing.
I mean, that sounds great as it is, but then you've got fucking Volcano Manor.
Oh yeah,
which is hilarious.
The secret wall where you go do an entire massive like Dark Souls 3 level like size.
It's insane.
Place.
The fact that like you can miss it and you can completely finish the game without it, but there's like a hidden wall in a side room in the middle of this manor that's quite hidden itself. And then you go through it and you're in like Bloodborne. You're in like a fucking level from Bloodborne.
Yeah, it's massive. And the boss at the end is probably the only novelty boss in that you have a special weapon to do it.
Yeah.
I didn't realise that you had, like, I picked up the weapon and I didn't realise that you had to kill the boss with it, even though it was called Serpent Slayer or something.
Yeah.
So I was using my sword, and I actually nearly killed the boss with just my normal sword. And I was like, oh, it's quite hard, but I reckon I can do it. And then I equipped the other weapon, the one that does this storm attacks,
thing,
and I was like, oh, this is much easier.
It's so easy, that boss is. I didn't even read an FAQ, but I did the special where you slam it down like that, and if you just time that to do it one after the other, the boss just gets stun locked.
Yeah, and it takes away loads of his health as well.
But still, the fact that they hid an entire fucking well-built area with unique assets, unique fucking backgrounds, unique lore and everything behind a hidden wall.
I know, yeah.
Also, my favourite bit is when you're in Limgrave and you're just in the forest, you're like, this is kind of cool, whatever. You've probably not gone to East for quite a while because the main bit that you start in is big enough for a new player. Then you go down that lift and all of a sudden you're in this underground sprawling fucking world.
The Sophia lift or something.
Siofra River, whatever the fuck it's called. But you've got that then, and then you've got unique enemies, lore, everything totally new. Noxtella as well. You jump on a roof to get into this massive fucking gothic area.
And you can see the city above you, but you don't know how to get there. And then later on in the game, if you just follow the normal storyline, you end up going to the city as part of it, and you're like, this is how you get there then.
And then you can see the Colosseum, and you're like, what the fuck's that? I tried to get to that for ages, then it's Moog's Palace, isn't it?
Yeah.
How'd you get there? I completely forgot. I've been there once, but I completely forgot.
The way I got to it was in the snowy field area where that like weird little village is that you can use to get to the Hallig tree.
Yeah.
If you go just left of there and follow like the edge of the map, there's like a teleporter.
Oh, like the bluey.
Just before the teleporter, you have to fight a bloody finger. It summons up, and it's quite a difficult one that does blood attacks on you, I think. But then when you defeat him, it opens up just like one of them little warpy teleporters, and it warps you into the underground area where Mog's Palace is.
With the Albanakes.
With the Albanakes, like the red and grey ones, where you can just farm and get shit ton of runes.
So good that is. I got there after I did Elden Beast, and I was a faith build, so I had the the whatever the fucking gold.
After Elden Beast? Oh, did you not start New Game Plus?
No, I didn't start it until I'd like gone and looked around. I went there, and the wave of gold is the Ash of War for the Elden Beast sword, and you literally slash, and it just travels and travels and gets bigger and bigger, and just one-shots everything.
Oh, wow.
So you literally just wake up at the site of grace, turn around, one shot, it wipes out everything, you get about 30,000 experience, and you just go and sit down again.
Oh, I need to do that.
So I got like 1 million in like 10 minutes, and I just kept leveling. Still got fucked up by the horrible crows and shit.
The blood crows down there, because like,
awful.
The
I ran past them all in the end.
The crows that you get in Caelid are bad enough, but then you fight those ones and they're even worse.
Yeah, I went running in. I was like, I got my sword. I'll be fine. But I couldn't do it. There's also one like NPC fight that you have to do with like a blood finger.
It spawns 3 times.
Oh, fuck yeah, I remember it now. Yeah, it was brutal.
It spawns once and you're like, okay, I killed him, and then you walk a little bit further and it spawns again. And you walk further and it spawns a 3rd time. You're like, this is a piss take.
I remember that because I kept aggroing the fucking birds.
The birds at the same time, yeah. So what
I
I ended up doing was killing the birds first and then like walking into the area with.
Well, if you spawn, as soon as you spawn, if you turn around and fire an arrow at the bird, it runs off the cliff.
That's it.
Yeah, you can farm that from early on if you get there quickly. I think there's a warp earlier on in the game, and you can just pop up there. One shot with an arrow and you get like 12k runes or whatever the fuck it is.
Early game as well. That's like by the end of the game, I was running around with like 100k runes, and if I lost it, I didn't even care. I was like,
great.
I'll get it back in like 5 minutes.
Well, I've got a gold sync with Radahn's great bow that you can get.
Yeah.
I didn't get his swords because I've already done a run. I got the great bow, and you can buy his arrows for 8,000 for 30 of them. For 10 of them, sorry. So for 30k, you can get like a full quiver. And it's so fucking powerful.
Is it?
It's so good. You do the thing where you shoot it up and they rain down.
Oh, nice.
So I've been using that. But yeah, great game.
It's why it's number 1.
That's like literally the tip of the iceberg of the things I can say about Elden Ring.
Yeah.
The lore. I was watching a video today from fucking Vati Vidya about the 3 different spellcaster types in the lake, the Liurnia Lakes. The Carrion people, Carrion Manor, the Academy of Raya Lucaria.
Yeah.
And then the 3rd are some like blind people who do gravity magic. What are you looking for?
Well, the yellow vein.
Yellow vein.
Oh, it's
got it.
No, it's in my pocket.
The lore behind it is crazy, and like it all links in the game. You don't realise it until you watch something like that, but it's all drip fed to you.
Yeah,
item descriptions.
Yeah, I didn't realise about item descriptions until you mentioned it, and then I was like, I've missed out on so much content.
There's a lot. Well, you can go back.
I've started my 2nd playthrough, so I can do. Yeah, about New Game Plus.
Oh yeah, cool.
Because I want to get all 3 endings, so that I can get the like not platinum or whatever it is on Steam.
I think there's like 8 endings.
Well, but achievement-wise, you need to get the Lord of Frenzied Flame, which I've got.
That's the first one I got as well.
Then you need to get the Age of the Stars, which is the Rani Quest
Second one I got,
and then you just need to get any Elden Lord ending to get the 3rd achievement. So I need to get all 3, and then I need to find every legendary armament, every legendary talisman, every legendary ash.
Crazy.
And then every legendary something else to get like all of the achievements, and then you get the final achievement unlocked.
It's mad.
Yeah.
Just like whenever you're bored and you want a bit of fantasy, just watch a Vati video.
Oh, because I like the lore. I was reading on it because I was looking about the DLC and wondering what they were going to do with it. I reckon it's going to be Miquella. It's going to be if they do more than one DLC, I can see him being either the very final boss of the whole game, because he's supposed to be like this ultimate thing, or it could be one of the outer gods that's because like, do you know what the outer gods that like Melania? She's been afflicted by a god called the God of Rot.
Oh yeah.
So you might end up fighting one of those, or they might save that for Elden Ring 2. Like you have to.
If they do Elden Ring 2, I will.
They're gonna do it.
They're gonna have to, aren't they?
Whether they'll call it Elden Ring 2 or if they'll call it something else.
Elden Bracelet.
Yeah. Or Elden Necklace. Or Elden Anklet.
They might call it that. Probably
Elden
right.
Necklace.
Great game.
Yeah.
That's enough about. Let's talk about shit games.
Let's talk about shit games.
That's what I really want to get into. What games were shit?
Bayonetta 3. Nearly all of the boss battles were very gimmicky, so they're really fun to play the first time, but then if you go and replay them, you want to have, like, do you remember the Lumen Sage battle in Bayonetta 2? Where it's you versus the Lumen Sage, and it was like an epic, like, one-on-one battle.
Yeah.
Nothing like that in Bayonetta 3. There's no fun, like, really intense fights like that where you have to use your skills.
It just feels like a movie that you watch once and you don't want to watch again.
Like this, like, giant monster fights as well. Also, there's these horrible 2D levels where you play as Jean, and it's like Metal Gear Solid 2D.
Oh, fucking hell.
They're so boring. They are the worst levels.
It's a shit game.
Badly made.
Hopefully, Platinum Games do die, and they shouldn't have fucked over that voice actor, should they? A shit game for me. Room Factory 5.
Oh yeah, that was crap, wasn't it?
Shit. It was. I was so excited for it. I pre-ordered it.
Yeah, I got really excited
stickers,
for it,
and I was so excited. I put the little stickers around my willy and made a little sticker condom. I was very excited for it.
Yeah.
And then I got it, and it was almost difficult to play because it ran like shit, which is immediately hard to get into.
Even
anyway.
on, like, I've got a 3080 Ti card, and it couldn't handle it.
That's crazy. Oh yeah, because you got it on Steam, didn't you?
Yeah.
I had it on the Switch.
Oh my god,
Can you imagine?
That must have been awful.
It was like playing a fucking Amstrad. And I kind of got into it at first. I was like, all right, give it the benefit of the doubt. Your love interests are literally fucking children in this one. But okay,
yeah.
I'll try and get past that because my character's a child. Started doing some farming, and then it gave you the second farm. The dragon.
Yeah.
And the only reason it did that is because it couldn't manage having more than like 10 plants in one world.
Oh, and that farm you get is tiny. It's crap.
I hated the farm. Hated going into the dragon farm because I don't want to go into another area to farm.
No.
And then I got to like the second month, I think, and there's a fishing contest.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, if you come at 11 o'clock, you can join the fishing contest. So I was like, okay, sick. There's this music that plays all fucking day, and it's really annoying, but I was like, whatever. Went down to the fishing contest. There's like 6 people standing there, all blocky and glitchy in the corner. I was like, this isn't fun. This isn't like Stardew Valley's fucking flower festival.
No.
Joined the fishing contest at 11, so I had to stand there and wait for 3 hours. Did it. Fished my arse off. I've been fishing all day because I've been waiting. I was really good at it. Came second, which annoyed me.
Yeah.
And then I put my Switch on sleep mode, came back on, and something had fucked up and it soft locked. Went back onto it, had to start the day again. I was like, I'm never playing Room Factory 5 ever again.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That sounds
shittily made.
Yeah.
Need to die.
Badly made?
Very badly made.
Yeah, I'm done.
Had a cracking shotcast.
Yeah. We'll be bag at it and jag at it again soon.
Should we do our song? Jag at
and bag at
coming out today.
And you.